today I'm going to be building a freight car kit, and it is another one of these Eve model cylindrical grain hoppers, which I am pretty sure come from Bachmann originally. You can see that this one has already been opened up, and that's because I had it painted by my friend Lily. She put all kinds of fun stuff on it, and that's going to be super fun to see this going around the railroad at some future point. Unfortunately, some of the stuff that she painted on it is on the inside, so we're not going to be able to see that later. I do have a photograph of that I took, which is showing up surprisingly well considering this is a video of a different screen, but I'm just going to set that aside now and we're going to get started. And as usual, I'm going to just completely ignore the instructions to do what I want to do in the order that I want to do it. So I'm going to empty out the last of the stuff from the box. I'm going to pour all the little pieces in there, get rid of that bag. Alright, so we have two trucks which we will not be using because these ones have plastic wheels, and I've found in similar kits that it's quite difficult to put my preferred metal wheels on here. So I have identical trucks from Eve model that already have metal wheels on them. I like the metal wheels better because they make well, for one thing, they make clickety-clacky sounds as they go over the rails. They spin better, and they pick up and put down less dirt on the rails than plastic wheels do. Allegedly. I haven't tested that actually, but that's what everybody says, and it kind of makes sense. So these are the trucks that we'll be using, but let's focus on some of the detail parts first. And of course, since I'm on camera, this is going to be quite difficult. I'm going to try to get it. Yeah, there we go. I'm using the screwdriver to get it inside the tiny plastic baggie. So I'm going to pour that. Well, let's take these rolly things out. Pour detail parts in here and push back the lid so that we could get some light in there. So we have these coupler covers. We have these parts, which are at the bottom. We have some plastic couplers, which we won't be using, and we have a couple other little detail parts. Let's get started on the little detail parts. So some of these go on the bottom, and I think I want to do those first. So I'm just going to pull those out, and then I'm going to close this box and set it aside. Next, I'm going to grab some glue that I'm going to use. And before I use the glue, I'm going to test fit these pieces to make sure that I don't put on some glue that I'm going to need to get rid of later. So far, the first three are fitting fine, and the last one fits fine as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this box back out so I can lean this up against it. And I'm going to take each one of these out and put just a little bit of glue. That is more than I wanted to put on here. But never mind, it shouldn't be too visible. And I got some on my thumb. Great. One is done. Tiny bit there. Tiny bit there. And probably got some more on my thumb. Nope, that one's backwards. That one might not stay on very well, but I'm going to leave it be for now. And the last one. There. Then I'm going to put the lid on the glue and set it aside for a moment. And this whole thing I'm going to set out of view for a while, somewhere that it can sit. Okay, The next detail part that we could do is supposed to be the last one that you put on, and that's this brake wheel. I'm just going to test fit it real quick. It goes on the little hole right there. Yeah, it fits quite loosely. So I'm going to put just the absolute tiniest amount of this glue that I can. And then come back and put on a little more. Now, normally, when I'm not recording something and trying to do it in one take, I prefer to use white glue all or school glue for work like this because it dries clear. You have more time to adjust things if they don't go together right, and it doesn't, like this type of glue, this crazy glue type of glue can cause what's called frosting effects. You could like see white kind of cloudy stuff that deposits on paint nearby places that you put it. And also the white glue is just doesn't do that for one thing, and for another, it is weak enough that if you do have to take something off and put it somewhere else, the glue will probably break rather than the parts that you're trying to move. But since I'm doing this relatively quickly, I'm trying to, well, I'm using something that'll dry a bit quicker. And as you can see, these ones are already glued on pretty adequately. I did use white glue to glue this weight in place, though. So the next thing that I'm going to do is these little detail parts, which are, I believe that they're associated with the brakes. And those go into little holes right here. For that, I believe I'm going to need some tools. I cannot find the tool. Oh, here we go. These will work. All right. I'm actually going to look in the instructions for this. It looks like the big one goes on top and the little one goes on the bottom. So we're going to do the little one first. This one you might not see very well. And it tried to get away from me. Come on. This may not be the right tool for the job. Okay, that piece flew away. I'm going to stop recording and try to find that piece and maybe find a different pair of tweezers or pliers that will work better. Okay, I found the piece and I found the pliers that I used the last time I did this. So let's give it another shot. I'm going to focus on, okay, it's lined up and it's in place and it is a little wobbly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to try to hold it in place on the other side with my finger and put a little bit of glue on this, well, a lot of glue on this side apparently. Next, I'm going to take this bigger piece and that one goes on top. And I'm not going to try to line up a great shot here. I'm just going to try to get it in place. There. That's in place. And that one has enough friction that it's holding on its own, but I'm still going to give it a little bit of glue on this side to hold it in place. That may be the last of the glue that we need to put on here. So I'm optimistically putting the glue away. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to assemble this. On each side here we have 3 tabs, and then we also have 2 tabs at the end, and those all fit into slots on the bottom. The bottom piece is a little bit curved, so we're going to have to push it into place when we assemble it, and that's actually why this weight is only glued in the middle. So it does matter which side is which, because we have these brake pieces here and we have the brake wheel there. We want those to be on the same side. Not that it ultimately makes that big a difference. So what I'm going to do, now that this is more or less lined up, is I'm just going to push it down. We got the middle done. Yeah, see, I think that it's pushed out a little bit more now, but you can see how the bottom bit is curved. There, that seems close to right. There, okay, that side's good. And we see that the ladders are actually engaged on that side. Now, the last time I put one of these together, I didn't get the ladders engaged on this side, and I ended up gluing them in place. If we have to do that again, that's fine. It does sound like something's cracking, but I'm not too worried. It looks like the tabs are lined up, so it should just be a matter of applying pressure until everything pops into place just like that. All right. We are doing good. All right, next let's put on the couplers. For the couplers, each coupler we need 1 coupler box, 1 screw, which fortunately this kit only has 1 type of screw for the 2 different things we use them for, and then we need a coupler. The metal couplers are stronger, and if you have a plastic bodied freight car like this, there's really no good reason to use plastic ones besides cost. But I have this big collection of metal couplers for putting in old freight cars or ones that come with plastic couplers, and that's what I'm going to do now. Now, you see if I leave this like this, it'll just fall out on its own, so it's always a little bit difficult to get everything lined up right at first. So what I normally do is, let me try to center this a bit better. There. I get the screw started in the coupler box, and you see that it sticks into the coupler box. It's not completely straight, but that's okay. So then I put the coupler there, I hold it up with one hand, I grab this with the other hand, and I put it in place. I grab that with the first hand, then with my other hand I come in with the screwdriver and I screw it into place. We want the coupler free to pivot from side to side, but we don't want this to be too loose. Needs just a little bit more. There. Perfect. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Come on. I'm just going to pour this all out now. And get rid of the box. There. And then these 2 couplers I'm also going to get rid of because we're not going to use them. So let's get out one more of the metal ones. Here we go. All right, same process as before. Get the screw started. This time I'm doing it by hand. All right. Hold the coupler in place, put the cover up here, hold both of them in place, and twist the screw down. Great. Now we're almost done. Do you know what we're missing? We are missing the wheels. I'm a little worried that the weight might have come off and be loose in there, but I'm not going to do anything about it now. All right. There are 8 wheels total. Each wheel is on an axle. Each axle has 2 wheels, and 2 axles each go into one of these trucks. We put the truck down like that and we put a screw in. But I usually like to drop a screw in before I put it in and then line it up with the screwdriver. And with the screwdriver you could kind of feel when it's lined up and you start twisting it in. This one, we want it free to rotate, but not too wobbly any other way. That's just about perfect. All right, let's do the other one. Drop the screw in, line up the screwdriver, and start twisting. And this one, we want it free to rotate, but we also want it a little bit loose to rotate this way. And that's it, we're done. Complete freight car. Yeah, the weight is definitely loose inside there. I'm going to have to take this back apart and glue it back in. Unfortunate, but well, other than that, it's done. I like the way that it's painted. I could actually see something like this going down the line in real life if somebody got it really tagged up. Anyway, thank you, Lily, especially for painting this up for me. And I can't wait to be able to shoot a video of it, and this one from John, and maybe a couple others from some other people running down the railroad, hopefully pretty soon. Thanks. Bye.